So I'm just gonna do a little more demoing of slowly building up your tone or value. So here I am again, I've got my 4H pencil, I'm holding it as far back on the handle as I can, and I'm just slowly making back and forth strokes. You could also do tiny circles if you want. I prefer kind of linear strokes. It's really up to you. Linear will give you kind of a more angled, hard-edged image or kind of shading style. Notice again that my talking sounds kind of like awkward and stilted. That's because I'm starting to get into that right brain mode. But yeah, some people like to do circles. So I'm slowly laying down my foundation coat, which is a really light dusting of graphite. And I'm squinting my eyes a little bit too and blurring my vision. The purpose of that is it helps me kind of see the total shape without getting too stuck looking at one specific area. I've got a nice even coat. It's barely visible. Now I'm going to come back in and I want to pick out which edge I want to make darker to have it fade off of that edge. I'm thinking I'm just going to have this edge here and then this edge here go darker. So again, I'm on to this is the 4H now, second hardest pencil that we're using. And I'm coming back in to slowly add some more graphite. You can always spin your paper around. Now notice you want to be careful of dragging this part of your hand on your paper so that you don't smear your graphite. I'm going to put down my Post-it notes to draw on top of. You could also just grab a piece of paper and use that as we call it a bridge, so that your hand isn't dragging across the graphite and smearing it. It's important, you don't want to grab obviously a paper that has a bunch of graphite on the back of it, because that will make it smear even more. I think it's good to change the direction that you are applying your strokes in, because this will kind of mesh, let's see, the lines together. Instead of them all looking like this, you can get them to lock together and fill in all those little gaps. Again, I call those little gaps holidays. It just means it's a place where we were taking a little bit of a break, kind of rushing, and we want to come back and fill those in. Make sure everything looks nice and smooth and consistent. So I had a professor in college who explained that when we do value, or we build up tone and value in a drawing, we want to do it really slow, and he compared it to like music. When you hear a song, it would be really boring if like the best part of the song starts within like the first 5 seconds. So we generally think of a song as like slowly building up to the most exciting part of the song, or the climax. See, I'm starting to get some good value coming through here. A really light tone is beginning, and it's starting to develop a little more. Let's see if we can show that. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, I'm going to move on to my HB pencil now. This one is much darker, significantly darker, right out of the gates, without any pressure really, just barely skimming across the surface. So I'm already starting to get a nice fade here. You can kind of think of this too, like if you go, if you've ever been to a barber shop, when they do a fade with a haircut, they have different clipper guards, and so they'll go from like a 3 down to a 2 to a 1. So you could think of these pencils as like gradual steps towards darker or lighter graphites. So when I get back towards the edge now, I'm just going to apply barely any pressure, just a little bit more than I have though. And we're starting to see that it's developing really nicely now. And you can almost barely see any pencil strokes in this because I'm not denting the paper. One of the things you want to be really careful of is going too dark too fast, and what that would do is that would kind of dent your paper or scar it. This last section here, you can see I've come in with my 4B, and I've kind of really built up those darkest tones. Again, I don't need a lot of pressure. It's going to automatically go pretty dark right from the get-go. If I want to come back with like a medium pressure at the end, that's good. But the reason that we want to use light pressure is that this always gives us the opportunity, if we need to erase some of that out, we can. If we press too hard, it's going to get way too dark, it's going to dent the paper, and we won't be able to make any changes. So again, there was our quick little demo of developing value through layering of graphite, and then also trying out to use some of the different hardnesses and softnesses of the graphite. All right, thank you.